Hello and welcome back to RageGamingVideos. My name is Olo and today we have a really cool build for you. This is the Heavy Paladin. This is a holy playstyle using what I consider a pretty damn underrated weapon, and as you can see I've got two of them. This is the Miquellan Knight Sword. And you might take a look at this and think, that can't be that good, it's got really low scaling, you know, D on strength, D on dex, D on faith. That is a fair assumption, but you're really neglecting the fact that it's extremely buffable, and when you power stance two of them, it's straight swords. These attack ridiculously fast, and in both PvE and PvP, that means scaling damage that just skyrockets to ridiculous numbers when you're bursting and doing lots of DPS to a target. These both come with the Sacred Blade Ash of War, which is one of my favorite Ashes of War types in the game. You have got a special attack that buffs up your weapon at the same time. So I can power up my weapon while also doing a sort of holy shot. It reminds me of the Dark Moon Greatsword, where you're buffing up the weapon and it's increasing its damage, as well as giving you a ranged swing. And as you can see, this ranged swing comes out quick, faster than the Dark Moons as well. Then we have that unique heavy attack, which is really, really cool on this weapon. I haven't seen this on any other weapon. Let me know if you've seen this before. This incredible two-hit combo where you kind of like pull the sword back and then do a dash forward. That's actually a great roll catch, or even a great opportunity for trading in PvE or PvP. And we can make that stronger, as I'll show you in a moment. So this kit, it comes with the straight sword power stance attacks, which come out really quick for incredible damage, DPS, and trading. You have a unique R2 with a dash and heavy hit, which is a two-hit combo, which as you can see does a lot of damage to targets. And then we have the really cool Ash of War that buffs up your weapon in holy damage and gives you a ranged option as well with that cleave. And lastly, but still very importantly, the design of this weapon is one of the coolest in the game. It looks incredible. So to make this weapon work, I'm really happy to see it because it's just so cool and so underused. In PvP, I was having a lot of fun with this, doing lots of damage, and with the utility of the kit, you know, we're using a faith build, so I'm able to run other things like, say, the home bolt to catch people out or chip people out. There's so many options because we have nice faith to get some utility from incantations like that. So you can work this build out to whatever you prefer, and I'm going to give you the baseline and the idea of it. So let's get to it. We have two Miquellan Knight Swords plus 10, and then we have the Erdtree Seal as a casting and buffing up seal. What's great about this seal is that it scales with faith at an S ranking, which is nuts, and it weighs nothing at all. We just need the 40 faith to begin with. Both of the swords only require 11 strength, 11 dex, and 16 faith to get going, and because they only scale at D rating, I don't have to go that crazy. If we take a look at my stats, you can see that I've gone for 45 strength and dex, and then we've got the 40 faith, although I'm getting +1 from my helmet. And we can rework these stats how we want. When I do PvP, I put the vigor up to 60 and drop strength and dex down to 40, and the damage change is very minor because, yeah, it's descaling. Now, as you can see, the damage of this weapon is physical and holy, which means we can buff it up in multiple ways, which is very exciting. So with these stats to begin with, we have 651 AR. That is not bad at all when we're doing power stance and we're getting a lot of tax out. That's actually really good. Having towards 700 on weapons like these, that's nuts, but we can get much higher. Starting with the classic Flame Grant Me Strength, we're going to increase our physical damage. Then we're going to buff up again with Golden Valve. That gives us physical and defense increases. Awesome. Then we also have the Sacred Blade itself on the weapon. So by starting with the offhand, I buff up the offhand, then I go to my primary and buff up the primary. So with those three buffs, and then also a Wondrous Physic that gives us holy damage, I go from 651 to 1031 on power stance, very fast-hitting weapons. That is really, really high damage. And then you combine that with, say, a heavy, which is a two-hit combo, that's going to do big damage. We can enhance that with this talisman, the Axe Talisman, enhancing your charge attacks. We can make the power of the actual hit of the Ash of War do more damage with the Shard of Alexander. And of course, we're using the Sacred Scorpion Charm, which is going to raise our holy attack, but also makes us take more damage. This is great for PvE, but I would actually recommend you swap off that in PvP to something a bit safer and useful, like the Bull Goat's Talisman, to give you some poise. Finally, our last talisman slot is a freebie. Whatever whatever you want to run. I like to run the Erdtree's Favor +2 because, yeah, extra health, stamina, equip load, these are all great things in all content. As I said, I'm running the Hone Bolt with that, but we have lots of faith, so we can run any number of incantations that you feel would work in this kit to give you some utility or a trick or something cool. In PvP, I find the Hone Bolt is such a nice bit of utility because it comes out quicker and more surprising. It has ridiculous range than, say, your Ash of War. I can spam out my Ash of War for range opportunity to harass them and then catch them off guard with a different paced range option with the Hone Bolt. So that's why I picked that. When it comes to trading though, we are absolutely dangerous as hell with this kind of AR and this kind of attack speed. You don't want to take multiple hits from this. I can clean people's healths out. The actual hit of the Ash of War is also going to do serious damage, which is wonderful. We have jump attacks for trading, and of course that heavy double combo for catching people out during a roll or maybe trading with. Overall in PvP, I find this makes for a versatile, varied, really fun playstyle, and I think it looks really slick too. I've really enjoyed playing this, and I'm definitely going to play this more. When it comes to PvE, you have the time to set up those buffs before the boss, right? Or whatever you're about to do, and absolutely go to town. Just absolutely annihilate the target. For boss killing, this is incredible. I will say that the holy buff of the Ash of War does not last very long, so I'm getting the double buff before we start the fight, getting all the buffs up, and then I try to maintain it throughout a fight that actually lasts a period of time. As always, you try to buff up your offhand first, and then your main hand, so you're actually buffing both and can use them for your base attacks. Ultimately though, it leads to ridiculous damage, huge burst, the DPS potential is nuts, and it feels good to play like a proper holy warrior who can attack very quickly. I'm a huge fan of this theme. I really like Faith in this game. And the thing is, as I've said to you guys, you can rework this build how you want. Swap a talisman here or there, change your incantations. If you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments. I found this to feel really nice in PvE. Ultimately, I can pull out an Ash of War attack for a ranged option if we get to mid or, any distance. When we're close, I can go hard on the L1 power stance combo and just absolutely clean out health. Or I can look for short trades where I do a heavy attack, which we're empowering with this build. And when you're doing many of those, you're going to see those staggers, and you're going to see those critical hits, which obviously look and feel great. The DPS is great. It feels very smooth. To get this build yourself then, you're going to need a few things. Starting with the actual weapon, the Knight's Sword. So we need to come to the Haligtree, of course. That is where you might expect to go. And we're at the Prayer Room Grace. From the Prayer Room Grace, we're going to progress through the area and run down here. As we reach this doorway here on my left, we're going to go in and go up the stairs. And as we come up here and take a right, there's going to be a sort of tree root stump thing. We're going to jump on that and climb on up. And then we're basically at the sword. Just on our left, down here, on the ground right here under this bell will be the sword. Now, you can only get one per playthrough. So, you will need a friend to drop you one, or you can do a New Game Plus run and get a second copy. For our talismans, we can start with the Axe Talisman. This is going to enhance our charge attack. And I should mention, by the way, the Wondrous Physic we're using is also using the Spiked Crack Tier, which also boosts your charge attack power. That benefits this heavy attack, making it much stronger, and we can two-hit combo that, so that's ideal. It's easy to get though. In the Mistwood Ruins, which takes place in the east side of Limgrave, we can literally just enter it, and right next to the Sleeping Bear right here is a cellar, and as we go down into the cellar like so, there is a chest, and that has the talisman inside of it. Easy peasy. For the very important Sacred Scorpion Charm then, we're going to increase our holy attack damage, which benefits the whole build in many ways, but does mean you take more damage. As I said, I like this in PvE, but not PvP. But either way, to get this, you just need to come here to this church, the Smouldering Church, in the sort of main entrance of Caelid, just as you're progressing along the main road that leads you here. On your left, you're going to be invaded when you step into the church, and once you've defeated that invader, you will get the talisman. As always, the Shard of Alexander is a very important talisman used in many builds, empowering your Ashes of War. This comes from the Alexander storyline and is the final reward when you complete the whole storyline, having faced down Alexander in honorable combat that he asks you to do. Once you do that, he will give you the talisman, and there we go. Our last talisman slot is a freebie, whatever you want to run in this. I run Erdtree's Favor +2, which you can only get after progressing the game to have changed Lindell. So once Lindell has actually changed. You need to come here to this sort of little pond or lake that is now covered in ash, that is now filled. To get there, you need to go to the Forbidden Lands Grace as you're on your way to the mountaintops of the giants, and turn back and go back across the bridge. And as you make your way to that now filled in lake, in the middle on a tree stump is that talisman. But there you have it. That is the Heavy Paladin. All about your fast combos and your very cool, unique heavy. The Miquellan sword is a underrated and very cool one, so I'd love to see more people using this. I want to give props and shout out obviously to Josh once again. He is our build madness man, and he's the one that suggested this to me. I've made my own minor tweaks, but it comes from him, so full credit to Josh as always. Let us know how the build goes for you if you give it a try, and if you've enjoyed the video and want to see more builds on the channel, drop a like so we can keep making them. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.